There is so much depth to Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and it can be intimidating trying to learn and remember all the basic movement, combat, and exploration fundamentals, as well as remembering all the tips and tricks of the game. It is very easy to forget something and realize later on in your playthrough you could have done this, or you missed a helpful hint that was staring right at you. But today, I'm going to go through some useful pro tips that you can use and remember to help you on your playthrough of Tears of the Kingdom. Welcome back to another video here on the Mr. West Games channel. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'm really enjoying making content for everyone, and subscribing really helps me out a lot. Before I continue, I should warn you that there may be footage of items, sages, or other things from later on in the game that some of you may consider as spoilers. I will not be spoiling any of the storyline in my videos, but I cannot help if you see some gameplay of things that you haven't unlocked yet in your playthrough. Recall is the first thing I am going to talk about. Recall is probably the least most used ability in most playthroughs of Tears of the Kingdom. It just doesn't seem to have much use unless in specific puzzles or niche situations. But here are a few ways you can use Recall that you may not have realized. First, you can always Ultra Hand an object, and the path that you move the object you are able to rewind using Recall. This means that you can create an easy bridge between two places or get yourself closer to another edge that you don't think you can glide to. Simply use Ultra Hand and move the object like a cut down tree towards the edge, then move it back to you. Then use Recall and jump on the object, and the object will take you out further towards your intended target. Another useful use for Recall is for wings or planes when you don't have a runway to take off of. The same principle applies here. Use Ultra Hand to move the wing or the plane over the edge and bring it back to you. Then you can use Recall, jump on the plane, and it will move off the edge. Now when your plane is in the air, cancel Recall and you will start to glide. This makes taking off even easier. Recall can also be used in combat, especially against enemies who throw large items, such as a stone talus or a boss bokoblin. Use Recall once they've thrown something at you, and you can send that object straight back to them. This is especially useful when they throw items that blow up, and you can send it back at them, blowing them up instead. Golden apples are something that you will come across in your journey, but what exactly are they used for? On the base of them, they are just a little bit better than normal apples, but when you combine them in cooking, they can be very useful. If you add a golden apple when cooking, you increase the number of hearts that dish will restore. Just from 2 golden apples compared to using 2 normal apples, the apples will restore 2 hearts, and the golden apple dish restores 9 hearts. Combine a golden apple with a raw gourmet meat, and it will restore 24 hearts. These golden apples can be especially useful when preparing large amounts of meals in preparation for combat or the storyline. Now, you might be wondering how to find large amounts of these golden apples. There is a good place you can go to, and you can get between 5 to 20 golden apples in one go. This place is over in Satori Mountain in the south of Hyrule Highlands. The place we are looking for is a small forest of trees on the east side of the mountain. There is also a shrine here. When you come here, you'll notice that all of the trees in this forest have apples on them. You will also see that there are lots of golden apples in the trees as well. For this example, I cut down the whole forest and received 8 golden apples for my troubles. You don't have to cut down the whole forest, you can also just go from tree to tree looking to see if you can see a golden apple. Then hit that tree or cut it down and collect the golden apples. You will also be able to collect a ton of normal apples here. The next tip I'm going to talk about stems from this area as well, which are Satori Trees. Chances are you've already seen one. These are big single cherry blossom trees with a small pond in front of them. These trees are unique as there is a small stone bowl at the base of each tree. Hold an apple and drop the apple into this bowl, and this will trigger a cutscene. The cutscene, you will see a Satori, which will look off into the distance and cause blue beams of light to come up from the ground in different locations. These beams of light are the locations of a cave. This means you can get all of the locations of the caves in the area just from offering an apple to the Satori tree. This is great if you are bubble gem hunting, looking for Misko's treasure caves, or you are just wanting to explore the area. Shield surfing is a well-known mechanic of Zelda, but is something that I personally only do on occasion, but rarely does it come to mind during my playthrough. And the biggest one I forget about is that you can shield surf on a railing and not fall off. This is great when exploring and doing different puzzles. You can always shield surf on a rail to get to a point of interest or to get back from where you came from. This leads us into shield fusions. With all the different items and objects in the game, you may wonder which fusion should you do to your shields. Personally, I never used a lot of shield fusions for combat, they were mostly for movement. Fusing a cart to your shield will allow you to shield surf on it for a greater distance and at higher speeds. If you don't have your horse around and it's downhill, use this fusion to shield surf to where you want to go. Other useful fusions are rockets and bomb flowers. Fusing a rocket to your shield means when you pull out your shield to defend yourself, it will shoot you up into the air and give you instant high ground. The same works for bomb flowers, except you need to shield surf. Fuse a bomb flower to your shield, and when you shield surf, the bomb will explode and shoot you up into the air. This is especially useful in combat as the bomb will damage the enemies, give you instant air time where you can enter bullet time to shoot them with arrows. I now have shields with all of these fusions on them for when I need to use them. The next tip are fairies. You've probably gotten some from a cave or sky island and they can be very useful, especially when fighting a lot of enemies. Fairies will instantly heal you back to a few hearts where without one you would have died. It is always nice to carry some in your bag in case of emergencies. But where can you find them consistently? The easiest place is on a sky island with water. Simply look in your map in the sky, find an island with water and go to that location. Every time I have been to one of these locations, there have been multiple fairies flying around the water on the island. Sneak around and collect them and you can easily get 4 or 5 fairies for less than 5 minutes of work. These sky islands also have other useful critters and plants, including hardy basses, ancient arowanas, sneaky river snails, variety of frogs and other plants that can be of use. After every blood moon or when you start your session, go to one of these islands, get a few fairies and some of the useful critters, and over the long run you will get a lot of these items. The last tip I'm going to go through is that if you have a decent weapon that you don't want to lose and it's about to break, you can go and repair the weapon using a rocked Octorok. You can find these in the Elden region around Goron City. There are plenty of maps online that will show you the exact locations of every Octorok in the area, but the easiest is to go to Goron City and head south. There will be a river spring on the south side of the road heading into Goron City. Glide along this and you will find some rock Octoroks. There are 3 along this road that you can use. Go down and in front of the Octorok and drop your weapon that's about to break. The Octorok will suck it up and sparkles will appear around the Octorok, meaning that your weapon has now been repaired. The Octorok will shoot the weapon back at you and you can pick it up. This only works once per Octorok, so you can kill it and come back after a blood moon if you want to use this Octorok again. You can also change the power up of a weapon through this method. Find a weapon with a power up that you want to change and do the exact same method. Once the Octorok sucks it up and shoots out the weapon, it will have a new power up. The attack power up is my personal favourite, but if you want to reroll each power up, simply save in front of the Octorok and reset the game if you get a power up that you don't want. Keep doing this until you get your desired power up. Again, this method will only work once per Octorok, so you will have to wait to another blood moon or find another rock Octorok to do this method again. Well everyone, I hope that you will find some of these tips useful and that they will help you on your journey of Tears of the Kingdom. This is an amazing game and there are lots of things to remember and mechanics to get good at. These are just some of the small tips that may help you a lot in your playthrough. Again, if you found this video helpful or interesting, please subscribe to the channel. My current goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to do it. Thanks for watching everyone, I'll catch you all later.